All right, so today we're diving into some pretty intense political drama happening right now in South Africa.
Yeah.
Accusations, we've got sexual harassment, a woman basically taking on a really powerful figure.
Right.
And this whole thing could really impact an entire political party, potentially. It's a big deal.
I think what's really fascinating here is sort of the ripple effect, right?
Yeah.
How this could potentially reach the very top. We're talking about the MK party here.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's give everybody a little bit of background in case you haven't been following this story.
Okay.
So we have Mary Party. She's the former Mpumalanga MK party convener. And she's come out publicly accusing Dr. John Cloe, who's the deputy president of the party, of making unwanted sexual advances towards her.
And it's really important to remember that, Mary Party, she was actually previously removed from her position within the party.
Right.
Amidst accusations of, financial impropriety and kind of internal destabilization.
Yeah.
But, she fought back. She won her case in court and was reinstated. And so now you have her alleging that basically the sexual harassment and the attempts to kind of discredit her are all tied to her refusal to, comply with Dr. Cole's advances.
Wow. That's a pretty bold statement.
It is.
And she claims, she has proof, she claims to have these text messages from Dr. Cloe himself that she says will basically prove her allegations. So he's like, she set this trap, if he denies it, she releases the messages, and it puts him and the party in a really, really tough spot.
Yeah, and this is where I think it's interesting to think about the recent judicial conduct tribunal against another high-profile South African judge who is also accused of sexual harassment.
It's like a pattern.
Yeah, and I think both this case and Mary Party's case, they highlight, the kind of legal and social obstacles that women face.
Oh, absolutely.
When they accuse powerful figures of this kind of misconduct.
Yeah, they're going up against a system that's often designed to protect the powerful.
Right, exactly. And so this isn't really just a story about these two individuals.
No, it's much bigger.
It's about power dynamics.
It's about accountability. It's about, a potential shift in how South Africa as a country deals with these kinds of situations.
Absolutely.
And I think what makes it even more intriguing is that Jacob Zuma, the leader of the MK party, he's been totally silent on this whole issue.
Oh, yeah.
Despite the fact that Mary Party formally wrote to him about it. So that silence, it could be interpreted as him sort of tacitly approving of Dr. Cloe's actions. And it raises these questions about, is there a pattern of protecting powerful men within this party?
Exactly, yeah.
So it's not looking good for the MK party.
Yeah.
They're really in a tight spot here with this kind of ticking time bomb with these messages. How they handle this, I think, could actually make or break them.
Absolutely. Their spokesperson is actually scheduled to address the allegations on a national news program, which just raises the stakes even more. It's going to be interesting to see, do they even acknowledge the accusations? Do they try to discredit Mary Party further? Or do they, will they announce some kind of internal investigation?
Yeah, or maybe some combination of all of the above. Who knows? But their response is going to be, everyone's going to be watching that really, really closely.
Oh, yeah.
The public, especially women and advocacy groups, I think, are going to be watching to see if they take real action or if it's just going to be damage control.
Yeah, damage control. Yeah. And then there's the whole question of these text messages themselves.
Oh, the smoking gun.
Yeah, the smoking gun. If they are as incriminating as Mary Party claims they are, releasing those could be a total game changer. It could force the MK party's hand and really just trigger a political earthquake within the party. So, it's a huge risk for them.
Yeah, and it's interesting because, Mary Party, she was already ousted once, and she came back swinging. It makes you wonder, does that make her more credible now? Or does it actually make her a bigger target? What do you think?
It's a double-edged sword, right?
Right.
On the one hand, she's clearly not afraid to fight back.
No, she's tough.
But it also, paints her as a potential threat to the kind of the established power structure within the party. So it's hard to say.
Yeah, it's like, you've got these power struggles, you've got these hidden agendas, and then you've got this potential evidence that could just bring everything crashing down. It's like a political thriller unfolding in real time.
It really is. Yeah, I mean, they're really walking a tightrope here, trying to balance their public image with actually addressing these very serious allegations, and everyone's kind of watching, waiting to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it just seems like they can't ignore it, right?
Right.
Especially with Mary Party, just, she seems ready to just release those messages.
Yeah.
So what kind of fallout are we talking about if she actually does that?
Oh, man. Releasing those messages could be absolutely devastating for the MK Party, I think. I mean, it could alienate, a huge chunk of their voters, especially women who are already, concerned about the party's stance on gender-based violence and things like that.
Right, yeah. It would be like playing right into the hands of their political rivals.
Oh, absolutely. The opposition parties are already all over this, using this to basically point out what they see as a lack of moral leadership within the MK Party. And with elections coming up, I mean, this scandal could seriously hurt their chances.
Yeah, I mean, are they even going to be able to recover from this? Like, what are their options at this point?
Well, they could try to just sweep it under the rug, Just dismiss Mary Party's claims completely and hope that it all goes away. But, I mean, that's a pretty big risk, especially if she does release those messages.
Yeah, it would make it look like they're just trying to protect Dr. Cloe.
Exactly. It would just reinforce that whole narrative that the MK Party cares more about protecting their own than actually addressing this kind of misconduct. And that would just erode public trust even more, especially among people who are already kind of skeptical.
Right. So what's the alternative? Are we talking like a full-blown investigation? Suspending Dr. Cloe? Like, what could they even do?
I mean, that's a possibility, but it's also risky. Launching an investigation basically means admitting there's something to these accusations.
Right.
It's like acknowledging that there's a problem.
But wouldn't that at least show that they're taking it seriously?
It could, but it also opens them up to even more scrutiny,
Oh, yeah.
What if the investigation doesn't find enough to support Mary Party's claims?
Right.
Then it backfires, and it makes them look weak and indecisive.
Yeah, they're really stuck between a rock and a hard place here. It's like damage control versus actually taking real action.
Exactly. And no matter what they do, there are going to be consequences. They're under immense pressure to make the right call.
Yeah, it's pretty fascinating to watch all of this play out, isn't it? It feels like we're seeing this really pivotal moment in South African politics, and the outcome could have huge implications for the country.
It is. And what's really striking to me is how much Mary Party's accusations are resonating with people, It's like people are just tired of seeing powerful people get away with stuff.
Right.
There's this real hunger for, transparency and justice.
It feels like this case is really tapping into that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's become the symbol of a much larger struggle for change.
It has. And the fact that Mary Party is speaking out, even though she's risking a lot, it's powerful.
Yeah.
It's encouraging other people to speak up too,
It's making people question things, challenge the way things have always been done.
Exactly. That's why this is such a big deal. It's not just about these specific accusations, it's about something much bigger.
Yeah, it's like this growing movement.
Exactly, yeah.
People demanding accountability, transparency, fairness.
Yeah. And the MK Party is right at the center of it all.
Yeah. What they do next, or don't do, I guess, it's going to be watched by everybody, not just South Africa, but the whole world.
Yeah. This isn't just a local story anymore.
Yeah.
It's global.
It's a reminder that, that fight for justice, for equality, it's happening everywhere.
It is. And speaking truth to power, that's so important no matter how risky it feels.
And what's amazing is that Mary Party isn't backing down.
Not at all.
She's still demanding answers. She's demanding accountability.
Yeah. It's pretty inspiring, actually. It shows that even one person can spark a movement,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's also a reminder that, we all have a role to play in this. We can't just sit back and watch. We have to engage, ask tough questions, and demand better.
Totally agree. This isn't just a spectator sport, This is about our future, and what we do now, it's going to shape the kind of society we want to live in.
Okay, so we're getting closer to this this press conference where the NK Party spokesperson is supposed to arrest these allegations head on.
Yeah.
What are you expecting? Like, what would even be a good response at this point?
I don't know. It's tough to say. I think anything short of acknowledging how serious these accusations are and actually outlining some concrete steps they're going to take towards accountability, it's going to look like they're just, brushing it off,
right,
doing damage control.
Yeah, but launching a full-blown investigation, especially right before an election.
Yeah.
I mean, that could backfire big time, even if they're trying to do the right thing.
It's such a gamble. I mean, they could try to spin it as, we're committed to transparency and all that.
Right.
But their opponents are going to jump all over that.
Oh.
They're going to say it's a desperate attempt to save face. It really depends on how they handle it, how sincere they actually seem.
Okay, so let's play this out. Let's say you're advising the MK party right now.
Oh, boy.
What would you tell them to do?
Honestly, at this point, I think they've kind of dug themselves a hole. The best thing they can do is try to control the narrative as much as possible.
Okay.
Acknowledge the accusations, express concern for everyone involved, and then announce that there's going to be this swift, independent investigation.
Okay, but doesn't that kind of feel like admitting weakness? Like saying, yeah, okay, we messed up.
Well, there is a problem, right? Whether they say it out loud or not.
Uh-huh.
I think trying to deny it or downplay it, that's just going to make it worse.
Yeah.
This is about them showing some leadership,
Yeah.
Demonstrating that they're actually committed to change, maybe trying to win back some of that public trust that they've lost. It's a long shot, but it's something.
Okay, so what about Mary Party? What do you think her next move is? She's been playing this very strategically, very careful so far.
My guess is she's just waiting to see what the MK party does.
Yeah.
If they try to dismiss her, or even worse, try to trash her reputation,
Right.
I think she's going to release those messages.
Yeah, that'll be the final blow.
Yeah, the ultimate trump card.
This whole thing, it feels like this huge turning point, not just for the MK party, but for South Africa politically. It's really opened up this much bigger conversation about power, accountability, this need for real systemic change.
It really has. And it all started because this one person, this one woman, refused to be silenced. I mean, her courage has been incredible to watch. It sparked this whole movement.
Yeah.
And it's going to be fascinating to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that, even when it feels like you're up against all odds, one person can make a difference.
Absolutely.
It's a powerful story, and it's one that people everywhere can relate to.
Definitely. It's about resilience, challenging the way things are, demanding more from the people in power.
Yeah, and no matter how this particular case ends up, it's clear that this conversation, it started, that's not going away.
Not at all.
So to everyone listening, we want to hear from you. What do you think is going to happen next? Is the MK party going to step up, do the right thing?
Yeah.
Or are they going to fall back into those old habits of denial and just protecting their own? Let us know in the comments. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button, ring the bell so you don't miss our next deep dive here on the Unseen Wisdom.